Good morning and welcome back to another 5 Minute Fridays. Once again very local, once again on my little local beach here on West Strand. I was out this morning walking our little foster dog and things were looking quite promising in terms of all we needed was a little bit of a gap, so I thought I would just hike the camera out. You've heard me talking about this before. There's a little clump of rocks out here that I affectionately call Old Nessie. That's what I'm kind of focusing on this morning, to see whether I can maybe add another couple of images to my little ongoing portfolio stroke project. I really enjoy working in project form. It really does allow you to kind of get out for short bursts, even if the conditions maybe aren't conducive to general overall landscape photography. So I would highly recommend that, and you know, once we maybe get a couple of shots taken, I'll maybe talk a little bit more about some of the projects that I'm working on. But full moon is out as well. You can probably just about make that out, and there was a little wisp of a cloud kind of just curling around it that I sort of tried to make a bit of an image with. At the moment, because of the sort of ambient light levels, not using any filters or anything, getting about a sort of a 1 second exposure, and that's what I want. The waves are quite strong, and if you have any longer exposure on there, they just turn quite white, so I'm really just trying to get that kind of curve over. No doubt as the ambient light increases, I might need to put a filter on, but at the moment no filters. Fuji X-T2 18-135, and just seeing whether we can play about a little bit with the moon in the scene, the moon out of the scene, and also looking at the little glimmer, the shimmer of the moon on the surface as well. Pretty sure I don't have an image like that in the little portfolio, so again it's about just adding some images into that project. So I'll get back to taking some images and we'll catch up in a few moments. There's a little bit of there's a little bit of weather moving out there to the west on the horizon. I just got completely drenched as well. A wave hit the tide wall and just, there was a couple walking past and I just took it all my stride, even though I was going, whoa! Anyway, yeah, so there's weather moving across the horizon, but we just don't have any light yet. The sun, I think it's just about sunrise now. Now, I don't see the horizon here on the east. I do see some sort of clouds just over the houses over there, so whether or not we're going to get any light now. The tops of these clouds behind me, as you can see there, are taking on a little bit of sort of early morning light. So of course with a little bit of weather moving through there, and it really does look like it's temperature's kind of dropping. We might even be seeing some sort of hail in there as well. Perfect conditions, maybe get a little sneaky rainbow in. So but now the scene, now that we've lost the kind of blue hour, the scene really needs a little bit of light, so I might move on just a touch and see whether we get that light. So quite frustrating that we haven't yet got any sort of sunlight, but there was some cracking, still is a bit of a weather system moving out there to on the horizon. Some lovely clouds, and again, one of the great things about this position is you kind of see the weather sort of sneaking around the corner, and I'm not sure again whether you're going to be able to see this, but if I darken you down, just right there's another sort of blast of weather moving through, so there's still hope that we might just get a little bit of light. But right now, there's one of the things I really love about the sky right now, there's different sort of characteristics of clouds in there and different tones of clouds. It's all not sort of uniform, which is what you get when you get these sort of snow flurries, slush flurries moving through. So we still have hope, but even without it, I think there's a couple of nice images in there just with sort of that silvery sort of context in there, but the waves are still hammering along. So I've moved myself along just a touch, and I think this is going to go one of two ways. We're either going to get some lovely light on the scene, maybe a little bit of weather moving off in the distance, or we're going to get absolutely soaked. I think I know which one it's going to be, but we'll carry on shooting. Oh, I can even feel the rain coming now. Oh, I hate being right. Apologies for the audio here, just recording this last little bit on the iPhone. So yeah, as I thought, the rain came in. Now, I've kind of packed the kit away, but I'm going to hang out here for maybe 5-10 minutes and just make sure, because there's still lots of weather systems moving through there, and maybe this rain won't get as heavy as I think it's going to get, but yeah, doubtful. But you'll either see me back out in the field here, or more likely, let's catch up quickly back in the home office and talk a little bit more about projects. So I decided to stay out. That weather system moved through. It was kind of wasn't quite hail, but it was blooming cold. Unfortunately, it has also removed a lot of as you can see, a lot of the drama from the sky. Now, where I probably want to be, sorry for the dizzy inducingness, is probably out at East Strand. So we might not get the conditions that we want here, but the moon has popped back out again up there somewhere. Yeah, the conditions over at East Strand, well, pointing the camera towards the east, I think would have made for a pretty stunning image this morning, but hey ho, hey ho. Anyway, I was going to tell you a little bit about projects. Yeah, so I really do like to work in a project-based manner. And those projects, first of all, can be very short term, something that maybe lasts a couple of days, even a day, or it can be something that lasts, as a number of my projects do, a number of years. And for me, it just gives me something to photograph, as I said earlier, even when it looks like the conditions or the elements or the location maybe aren't conducive to straight up standard landscape photography. Getting quite busy here. Lots of people. So I actually forgot that within Adobe Cloud, I think it's called, or Adobe Portfolio, I actually put up a bunch of my own sort of little mini projects that at the moment don't really have an end goal per se, and they're not really finished images in their own right. Morning, Sally. As I said, it's getting quite busy here. I'll stick a couple of those up now and say one of them is the sort of Old Nessie project, and this is something that I think I mentioned in previous Talk Tuesdays. I can really see my photography starting to develop beyond the single image. Now, don't get me wrong, I still like going out and having a chase for good light and capturing hopefully a nice scene, but I get far more enjoyment these days out of trying to build up different projects, and I can see me maybe starting to evolve this channel and maybe chasing some of those, which of course means that, as is always the case with projects, there's a lot of craft, let's call it, a lot of images that sort of are around the main images themselves, that sort of build layer on layer on top of each other. I'm not really articulating this too well, but hopefully you're kind of getting the gist of it. Basically what I can see happening behind me, that intense light that was there earlier on has now sort of turned into sort of a more subtle sort of yellow tone. The sort of town of Portrush is starting to get some reflective light on it, but from sort of experience, that means that the light we're going to get out here is going to be quite washed out, quite bright. Now, again, we do have some weather systems moving through, but as is always the case, or one of the problems that we face here is, look above it, lots of blue empty sky, which just wouldn't make for a very pleasing image. So I really do think that that's probably